The New York Jets have made a shocking move that Jet fans are not going to even believe is real, but it continues the trend that Aaron Glenn has been preaching all season long, and we had to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Football 365. If you're a New York Jet fan, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But getting into the news for today, coming from Jets insider Rich Cimini, the Jets defensive shakeup continues. Former All-Pro linebacker Quincy Williams has lost his starting job, he tells ESPN. He said, "My coaches told me I was underperforming, that I've been underperforming since training camp." Williams said he's not thrilled with the decision, but he's also not mad because he hopes to win his job back. Hashtag Jets, coming from Rich Cimini. Crazy news coming out of the New York Jets because Quincy Williams, the brother of Quinnen Williams, oh boy, that family probably hates us nowadays, benching one brother, trading away another. Quincy Williams has not been living up to expectations so far this season, and Aaron Glenn has finally decided to do something about it. Going into Quincy Williams' stats so far, 11 tackles and 1.5 sacks. It's important to mention that Quincy Williams was put on IR, so he missed 4 games of the season. So this is only through 4 games. He has more sacks, per game by a lot compared to the other years, but the tackles are really, really low. And for an on-ball linebacker like Quincy Williams, you want to see the tackle numbers just need to be higher. It's four games and only 11 combined tackles is not good enough at all, especially when we know what kind of talent Quincy Williams is and how many tackles he's used to running up in the past. The new scheme coming in from new defensive coordinator Stephen Wilkes is part of the reason why Quincy Williams has been able to run up so many sacks this year. It's not just, it's not just him discovering a crazy way to rush the passer all of a sudden. It's because Stephen Wilkes brings exotic blitzes, and that's where the sack numbers are coming from. But the lack of tackle numbers, absolutely extremely surprising, just very strange. You wouldn't expect Quincy Williams to just become a guy who's not getting a lot of tackles out of nowhere. What's a very important distinction between an on-ball linebacker and an off-ball linebacker. Quincy Williams is an on-ball linebacker, which means he lines up close to the line of scrimmage and he lines up on the strong side of the field, which is usually the side of the field that the opposing team is more likely to run the football towards him than they are to run the football away from him. And you put him there because he's supposed to be your best tackler. He's supposed to be someone who's going to be making a ton of tackles and running up that stat. So the fact that the tackle stat is really low can tell even just box score watchers that Quincy Williams has been underperforming this season and has not been doing what he was expected to do with the New York Jets. A couple of years ago, we signed Quincy to what I thought was a good contract at the time, but that year he became a first-team All-Pro, and it turned into a bargain contract, maybe the best contract in the entire National Football League. But now Quincy Williams is in a contract year on his way, probably out with the New York Jets. You have to imagine he is not going to re-sign after being benched and then going, his brother getting traded as well. You would imagine that he wants to go somewhere and win, but if he wants to come back, that will certainly be taken under consideration by Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. But what I mentioned in the opening of this video, where this maneuver is consistent with what Aaron Glenn has been saying about this New York Jet team, he's been saying all year the best players are going to play, and frankly, I've been waiting for him to make good on that. Because if you watch the film, there are some guys that really are not playing up to the standard that needs to be set by the New York Jets. And that's what Aaron Glenn says. He says they're setting a standard and they're going to meet a certain standard. So they have to make sure they're going out and actually performing up to a standard. So far, 1-7, it's no secret that guys aren't performing up to a standard. The Jets have not been good enough in any facet of the game so far. And part of that is Aaron Glenn as well. He said he's doing some self-scouting. He's going to figure out his issues, his shortcomings as a coach, and he's going to figure them out. And I have faith in him to figure those things out. But it's obvious that changes had to be made. And Quincy Williams, it's shocking, frankly, to see a player as good as Quincy Williams and with the name value and the fan favoritism value that he brings to the table, him getting benched sends a message to the rest of the defense. anyone on this team can get benched. If that guy can get benched, a first-team All-Pro, the other guys in the locker room, they all look around. They look at each other and go, I'm not a first-team All-Pro. I can get benched too. I better step up and I better hit somebody. I better play good football. And that's what Aaron Glenn's got to bring to the table. Earlier in the season, the New York Jets had a ton of problems with committing penalties. And early in the season, they were actually committing more penalties than they were last season. Aaron Glenn said he was going to hold guys accountable, and really the lineup didn't change. And that's where I started thinking, I was like, is Aaron Glenn really going to do the things that he talks about doing, or is he just going to say the things that he talks about doing? It's always harder to do the things than to say it. It's always easier said than done. But now Aaron Glenn is finally following through on what he is saying, and he's finally making sure that he's holding New York Jets players up to a standard, and that is going to be more important now than ever as the New York Jets go into what is pretty much a full-fledged tank. Got some easier matchups coming up, starting with this weekend versus the Cleveland Browns, but this is a full-fledged tank. We're going to find out who really loves football, who is proud to be a New York Jet. That's something that Rex Ryan always talks about. He's proud to be a New York Jet, and the players on the football team, they better be proud to be a New York Jet as well, because it's going to get really, really tough. Even by New York Jet standards, this season's about to get tough. This team is going to have a top 5 pick, and we're going to figure out exactly who's here to play football and who's here just to collect a check. And the guys who are here just to collect a check, Aaron Glenn is going to figure that out. He's going to bench them, and they're not going to be playing next year, or they're not going to be on the New York Jets next year. When the new league year starts in, I believe it's May, that's when Glenn will have another opportunity to get guys off the roster who do not fit his scheme. We've already seen that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, they are not afraid to do what they know needs to be done. This team, we were not winning games with Sauce Gardner and Quincy Williams. We won 1 game out of 8. What are we going to do? Lose more without them? That's almost impossible. And if it did happen, it wouldn't even be the worst thing in the world, because Fernando Mendoza is him. Fernando Mendoza is clearly and obviously the best quarterback to come out of the draft over this year and last year. Significantly better than Cam Ward. He doesn't have the turnover issues that Cam Ward has. I have been comparing Fernando Mendoza to Cal's quarterback from 2015. You may remember him. He played for the LA Rams, got traded to the Detroit Lions. I know Jet fans are sick of hearing about that team, but Jared Goff is very, very similar to what Fernando Mendoza is as a quarterback. And if you like Jared Goff's game, you're going to love Fernando Mendoza as a prospect. He doesn't have the rocket arm strength that Fernando Mendoza has, but he does, or I mean, I'm sorry. Mendoza doesn't have the rocket arm strength that Jared Goff has, but Mendoza has everything else, high-level processor, and my favorite thing about him is when the easy play is there to be made, when it's 1st and 10, and we can pick up 4 to 6 yards, he takes the play. He doesn't walk around like Cam Ward and go looking for a bomb every single play. He makes the play. And that's exactly how you got to play football. You got to make sure on 1st and 2nd down that you're staying on schedule to either pick up first downs on 2nd down or set up extremely easy 3rd down conversions on 2nd down, set up an easy 3rd down conversion. You don't want to look for the home run every single play. It's why I didn't like Cam Ward coming out last year. It's why I'm not a huge fan of Garrett Nussmeier this season going into the season. Of course, now everyone's like, oh, I'm not a fan of Garrett Nussmeier either. I'm like, welcome to the party, everybody. The dude has never been that good. There's so many young quarterbacks coming out that they want to make the Hail Mary bomb play, the crazy big play on every single play. Look at Patrick Mahomes. The dude just throws so many checkdowns. Look at, do Jets fans remember Tom Brady? He threw the ball to Deion Lewis and James White, and people call him the GOAT. All he did was check the ball down. Or he threw it to Randy Moss when he took the top off the defense. Or he threw it to the best tight end of all time. Check downs, get first downs, move the football, draft Fernando Mendoza, the New York Jets. Hopefully we can earn that 1st overall draft pick. If we don't earn the 1st overall draft pick, we got a little bit of extra draft capital to go make something happen. And I love the NFL draft. If you can't tell, can't wait to see how that turns out. If you stuck around this long, appreciate you taking the time to watch the entire video. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Jets, man.